Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. This is Elizabeth at craftsbyhappystamper.com. I'm going to be showing you how I made this card today. This is actually an entire card, but I'll be making 9 of these as card fronts for a demonstrator swap I'm participating in. You could see I added lots of extra bling there. I used the Petal Potpourri Stamp set, which is a new stamp set in the Occasions catalog, and I'm going to be using "and many more" for the sentiment for the happy birthday on the front, and on the inside I put "and many more." But this stamp set is from the annual catalog, so you can get it all year. Um, yep. So let's get started. You can see I already cut out most of my papers. So right now I'm adhering my black designer series paper to its white mat, and I really like to use liquid Tombow multi-purpose glue for adhering my layers because it gives me a little bit of time to actually wiggle the papers together. You'll see me wiggling it here so that I can get a perfect layer, because if I use tape, once it's down, you can't really wiggle it, so it's done. And I tend to not be extremely good at lining it up for the first time. So now I'm adding my white onto the red card front. So this is a traditional A2 size. It's 4.5. So the card front is 4.25 by 5.5. I've sped up some of this video so that you didn't have to see my slow, laborious process of adding liquid. You could be much quicker than I am. I don't know why I was really slow putting this card together, but now I'm lining up the mat for the flower. I really like the way black, white, and real red looks together. I think it looks very classy. So I'm using the matching punch that goes with the Petal Potpourri stamp set here to cut out a black background flower. And now I'm stamping the sentiment, and I'll just show you one, but I do stamp it 9 more times. Actually, I think I stamped it like 13 more times. But then I use the word window punch to try to center it. You can just flip the punch over and center the words in the middle and start punching out your sentiment. I used the modern label punch and just some scrap real red cardstock. You could see I wasn't sure what size really I needed, so it doesn't fit the first way, but it fits if I just turn it sideways. And I need 9 of these to mount my sentiment on. I'm using Memento black ink here. It's one of my favorite black inks, but mine is actually kind of drying out, so you can see me tapping it on the pad and then double checking and making sure that I actually did cover the entire stamp and pressing some of them onto. Now this punch and stamp set is really nice because it's symmetrical, so it's not hard to line it up. As long as you stamp in the right part of the paper, you can fit it inside the punch and then punch it out pretty specifically. So then I just glued the center of my white flower to its black flower mat, and then glued that down to the red and white mat. And then I centered the sentiment onto the modern label. Now here I am just gluing down the flower, and I tried to make sure it was even on the left, right, and top sides. I used Stamping Dimensionals to mount my sentiment, which I really love. I love dimensionals. There you go. So that's pretty much the card, but now I decided I wanted to decorate it with rhinestones. And I decided that the second to smallest rhinestones were best for the sentiment sides. And then I started with a large one in the center, and then used the second largest around the second circle, and then the smallest around the outside. You could see I jumped ahead a little bit there. I added a lot of rhinestones, so it took me a while to put them all on. But I really like the little extra effect that it gives, a little shiny effect. I think it adds something special. And since this is for a demonstrator swap, I didn't want to be stingy with them. So here's the finished card. It's a really clean and simple card, but I think it really looks very striking with the little bits of red matting around the black and white. I really love this card, and the flower actually reminds me a little of the Zentangle type of technique. So you can get all the specifics on my blog at www.craftsbyhappystamper.com. I give you all the measurements. You can also check out the swatches and the product shares that I have available from the new Occasions catalog, so you can actually get a little bit of everything without spending a ton of money. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and follow me on YouTube. Thanks.